One final race remains of the 2024 calendar year for Wednesday night racing. We swing to upstate New York stateside for this final trip around with the Beer League. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Watkins, Glen International and to the Finger Lakes Tow Fest. My name is Oliver Empel, alongside Austin Edstrom. We are bringing you all of a racing action from start to finish of a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Austin, it's going to be a great race this afternoon. You got a lot of drivers that are chomping at the bit for last-minute bragging rights. The championship has been decided, and that means no need to be conservative. It's all to play for in the season finale.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of big moves here tonight. Watkins Glen kind of lends itself, especially in this kind of race car, big draft down the straightaways, to see a little bit of mayhem. So I think up the S's, we got to be very, very careful on these first couple laps where we see everybody bunched up. We could very well see a track blockage at some point tonight. I wouldn't be too surprised. So we're going to have to watch out, see if we can make it through all the mayhem here in the early going. And if we can do that at the beginning of these races, I think it'll be relatively clean and green. But like you said, it's going to be a great race. Watkins Glen always puts on great races.
We're going to take a quick rundown to those championship standings coming on over into tonight's racing action. Alex Cofford on the top with 371 points. That has been enough with drop weeks to lock himself into the top step. Right now, the fight's on for second, and it's a dead heat right now between Tucker, Ronderberg, and Kasich for that last podium spot.
Yeah, really tight between the three for the second and third place spots. Who's going to be the next up behind Alex Cofford up at the top? And you got to think the beers might come into play tonight, too. The bonus points always matter. I'd be hesitant to crown anybody champion before the end of the last race. Just knowing somebody could just chug down, an entire case. Maybe in one night, maybe their racing skills wouldn't be too good, but Cofford obviously up in the lead there. And then the team's championship, anything but decided with Babs Bug Boys and Happily Holidays up at the front, only 4 points separating them.
And of course, this is big because this would decide what car we utilize for the next season as well. So there's a lot that is yet to be decided with the Beer League, and all of that is going to be coming on up in just a few moments' time. Qualifying is currently underway. It is not the typical Watkins Glen layout we use in any stretch of the means. Not typical on the oval or on the NASCAR side, not typical on the boot side. Let's ride on board here with Tyler Carlton. He'll take us for a lap.
Yeah, coming down to turn one here at Watkins Glen, making sure you use all the racetrack on entry. Carlton doing a good job not narrowing up the corner. Didn't quite get down to the apex as much as maybe he'd like, but he still gets a pretty good run coming off the corner. Just trying to get as much exit speed as possible because this is just a super long straightaway with a couple minor curves in it, especially in a car like this. Only going 113 miles an hour up through the S's right now. Carlton not really breaking any speed records, but 122 as they finally get to the straight portion here. Going to be a big draft show, and you can see Carlton trying to utilize the draft that he's got in front of him down this long straightaway. You can tell it's working. He's gaining a ton coming down the straight and down into the carousel, and the traffic gets out of his way. I got to think they were probably off the gas as well, but hey, Carlton's not going to complain about that little bit of draft. And then coming down to the boot is where it switches up just a little bit. He missed the bus stop. No bus stop here tonight. And then coming down to the boot, continuing to finish his lap. Carlton putting down a pretty good one so far.
I think the fact that there's no chicane is going to be absolutely crucial for our racing action here this afternoon, because that means there's not going to be anything to break up these cars from going 2 or 3 wide into the carousel as they set themselves up for the boot. Right there, you got to the toe. Now we're heading on down towards the heel, up and over the crest, hard on the binders, just shy of the 100-foot boards. Sweeps in, and now for the left-hander that takes you back onto the main circuit proper with just 3 corners left to go.
So Carlton finally getting back on what I call the main circuit. NASCAR. The NASCAR layout is dear to my heart. Kind of heartbroken that we're not racing there tonight, but close enough. I'll take it. Carlton coming around the penultimate corner, still putting on a halfway decent lap. A good chunk of drivers have started to finally put down their first qualifying laps. I see 15 or so times on the board, and Carlton getting close to that wall on the outside, trying to carry as much speed as possible down to the start finish. Getting his lap in, gonna be about halfway up the running order at this point between Freed and Alexander Clank. So a decent run there for Carlton in the top 10, but only out of 17 guys that have put down a lap. And just the first lap, got to look at that as really just a maker lap for Carlton, something that he's getting in that's going to be decent at the beginning so he can really go for it a little bit later.
Here you see one Austin Tucker working his way around to that 243. Right now, Tucker, one of those drivers that is trying to contend with some of the top steps here this afternoon. He has right now got the quickest times on the boards. Purple in sector 2, green in sectors 1, 3, and 4. Now, without a lot of times on the board, it's not like this is going to be too representative of that lap time. But hey, this could be enough to easily put him into the top 5, if not on pole.
Yeah, Tucker coming through, and Crawford right behind him, putting down a decent lap as well. But Tucker going to lay his down first, see where he goes. It looks like Tucker's going to go to P3 on the board, so a really great lap there from Austin Tucker. Crawford coming in behind him. Looks like he's about 10th on the board. He ends up going way, way wide. That's going to be a 1X and ruin his next lap. Kasich going slow on the inside as well. But a lot of guys finishing their laps up early. You know, I feel like a lot of weeks we get, you know, to lap 2, lap 3, lap 4, and we've only got about half the running order putting down a lap. But, you know, Watkins Glen, this is a tried and true road course. Most of these guys are well versed around here. I feel like this is probably one of the most well versed racetracks on the sim. Different layout than normal, but still, you know, we kind of take a little bit of difficulty out of it with the bus stop chicane being removed from the track here tonight. So an opportunity to get a 1X completely removed, and we've seen just about 3/4 of the running order already put down a banker lap early on in qualifying within the first 2 laps of the run.
Tyler Carlton on the good lap. You see on the bottom of the screen, the delta is coming on in. Goes from 19th. Unfortunately, this lap not going to count. It was invalidated. Justin Hall on his personal best lap of the session so far, which would be his first lap, so that does make sense why it would be his PB. Coming across the start-finish line this time by 2 minutes 5.79 to, or 2 minutes 0.579 to beat Justin Hall. Only good enough for 19th, 1.4 seconds off the mark.
Hey, look, the 5 green bars look nice, so I'm right there with you. You know, it just makes you feel a little bit better whenever you see that thing all green. Doesn't matter if it's your only lap or not. Madole coming through next, not putting down a very good lap time there in the 2. I believe it was 2:03 there for Todd Madole. I think he's got a little bit more in that thing. He's going to pull down to the inside, really shallow up the entry to turn 1. For his next one, doesn't look like he's actually going out on a lap here. Slow to the inside of the racetrack. Madole maybe just coasting this thing through a lap, getting the tires cooled back down or something. Maybe some strategy play on the qualifying session.
Alex Crawford, not a good lap for him. How about Carson Catlin going from 24th to 9th on the boards with his personal best lap of the session? That puts him within 1 second of the pole sitter.
Catlin bumping himself into the top 10, but Babcock gonna put himself right in front of Catlin into 9th, and then everybody just gets usurped by Eric Ronenberg up to the top of the board by 2/100ths of a second. He just beat out Kyle Blevins by. So what a lap from Eric Ronenberg, getting himself up to the top.
Eric Ronenberg with a stellar time. Corey Barrett still trying to get a time on the boards. This is his first attempt at a lap. Not a lot of cars around him, so a clean track. Corey Barrett comes across the line, 31st. Out of 33 times so far. Looking like we're going to get about 40 to 42 cars this afternoon. Justin Hall will be the next car that's looking like it'll be a good improvement.
Justin Hall coming up to the last section of the racetrack here, the penultimate corner. Easy corner to get wrong, easy to go just a little bit wide. Dip your two wheels a little bit too far wide on this exit curb. Get an X, ruin your lap. Hall doing a good job keeping it within the limits there. Coming up to the last corner, trying to keep as much speed as possible, just getting the best time that you can. Coming up to the line, Justin Hall. Can he improve whatsoever? Get himself back up into the top 20. Not seeing any improvement.
I think that lap might have been validated. He was green on all sectors, so there was no reason why he should not have improved. And, well, look like he actually improved on his time, just not in his position.
So that's consistency from Hall. So you know, if you're Justin Hall sitting behind the wheel, maybe you're a little frustrated because you're a little ways down the running order. But hey, consistency is key. Get yourself in that top 12 by the end of the heat race. Obviously, you know, you can flip yourself up to the front of the field, and honestly, track position is everything. There's only a few guys in the league that can really drive their way through all 40 cars and give themselves a shot to win. So if you start in the top 5, you're giving yourself such a good opportunity, but it's not a great way to start into the top 5.
Austin Tucker to provisional pole along with Carson Catlin going on to the front row. Ronneberg's time quickly to serve. Alexander Klenk gets into the top 5. Times are tumbling in. Ronneberg back onto the front row. The battle for pole is on with Ronneberg swinging out wide in turn 1. He was purple on one sector. Campbell puts down his best lap of the session, goes up to 22nd. But a lot of banker times, and in fact, right now, first, second, third, 5th, and 6th just put down their best laps of the session on this last time through.
Holy cow. That track might be getting a little bit faster. These guys are getting a little bit more comfortable. Everybody's all out on the racetrack right now, so you got to think there's a lot of draft trains out there. Maybe a couple guys able to find some friends, able to work together. Austin Tucker able to punch his way up to the front of the field. Ronneberg getting himself back up into the front row like you mentioned. Now we got Adam Klein coming across the line, currently 34th. Can he do anything to improve on that spot? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it at 2:03.19. Vietnam and Justin Hall, the next couple to come through, see if they can do anything better. Justin Hall's been Mr. Consistent the last couple times. That time, a couple seconds off. Not going to be an improvement again there for Justin Hall. Actually, excuse me, that the time came through a little late on that one. It looks like he actually did punch himself up to 18 at 2:01.45.
Yeah, Hall gets up to into the top 20, but still over almost a second and a half, in fact, off of the provisional full time set by Austin Tucker. Tom Bedolla on his best lap of the session, but so far sitting down in 31st, coming around through the final corner, this time by the number 13 entry. As he looks to come across the stripe, green on all sectors should be an improvement. And it will be an improvement all the way up to 17th.
Good run there from Bedolla. We typically expect him to have, at least top 20 pace. I expect a little bit more, but Bedolla at least getting himself a fighting chance for the heat race coming up. 15 minutes of mayhem around Watkins Glen. And man, still a lot of shuffling on the board. Darren Bailly going up to 6. I saw another somebody else jump a little bit further down into the top 10. I mean, we've got people putting in faster laps left and right. Josh Freed into the top 15 right there. Oh, somebody's spinning off into turn 1. Action all over.
Ronneberg closing in on provisional pole, 0.04 of a second now between himself and Austin Tucker. We flash back to Corey Barrett, still trying to improve. Personal best lap so far of the session, not gonna be enough for pole position, not even close, but it will be enough to get him up into 23rd. So that's still a big improvement from 34th.
Oh yeah, giving him, again, I've said fighting chance a million times, but giving himself a fighting chance in the heat race. We've seen plenty of incidents in the heat races so far. You get one or two crashes up in the top 15, and all of a sudden, bam, you're in that 12th position transferring through to the pole. So giving yourself a good starting spot in the top 20, top 25 should at least be the goal of anybody that typically runs in the midfield in the beer league. So I kind of like that spot.
One car coming across the stripe. This here is David Elkin. I don't believe a driver that we've actually seen in beer league competition so far throughout this season. I will try to get a time on that for you and see if he has been around this season, but I don't recall seeing him on the racetrack. He is right now working his 8th lap. Take a look at Kyle Blevins, though. Green in 2 sectors and purple in the 4th, but he was down in the 3rd.
Can he do anything to get it back? That's the question. Oh, he got held up. He got held up coming out of the last corner. That's going to be a lap killer, no matter what he had going. Kyle Blevins, great 4th sector there on the timing and scoring, but huge checkup for him coming out of the last corner. Somebody pitting right in front. Not the greatest job of getting out of traffic's way, that's for sure.
And yeah, will not be a lap logged. Might have been a little bit of contact, which ruined that lap as well. One other driver that we're seeing present this afternoon, Mac Verstappen, making his way out onto the racetrack. Now, Mac, one driver we have not seen around much this season. Good to see him back out on the racetrack.
Yeah, I can't believe Mac hasn't been around too much. Maybe he's scared of this race car. I don't know why, because it's got the lowest amount of horsepower. But you know what? He's brought a pretty good paint scheme here with the very weird Lightning McQueen eyes on the headlights here for the Spec Racer Ford. But Mac gonna put down his best show in here tonight. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. Like you said, been kind of sporadic attendance here this season. Can't wait to see if he can, kind of shock the beer league tonight.
It has not necessarily been the season for Verstappen to remember. Only one race. It was at Navarra, and he finished that race all the way back in 40th. In fact, I think it was marked as a DNF at the end of the day. And by the way, confirmed, David Elkin making his Beer League debut, or at least this SCCA Spec Racer 4 debut this afternoon.
So we got a newcomer in the last race of the season. Kind of a weird timing. Typically the time of the year where most of anybody outside of championship contention takes some time off, right? We're so close to Christmas. If you're going to miss a race, why not this one at the very end of the season? But hey, Dave coming in last race of the season, going to give it a go. See if he likes it. I don't know how you couldn't. We've stuck around for how many seasons now? Is it 4 that we've been around? Coming up to 5.
He's only made 3 starts prior. He's made 1 start during the Toyota GR86 season, and he made 3 during the late model stock season. His career best finish, only 35th. So he is looking for better this afternoon, trying to finally get something on the boards, but right now only qualified in 37th. By the way, Ronenberg has improved on his time for the top spot, and Kleit's just gone to 3rd.
Ronenberg, yeah, he's got 900s on Austin Tucker now up at the front. Tucker's kind of stagnated at that 279, hasn't been able to eclipse anything better than that. He was a full second off of it his last go around. He's coming down the back straightaway, down into the carousel. Switching around, checking out a couple other cars that are starting to come around the final sector, setting another lap time. These guys are going to have one more opportunity to lay down a lap time. Still 2 minutes 40 seconds left on the board. Anybody within about 30 seconds of the start finish right now, start finish line is going to be able to get this lap and one more. Right now, watching Tanner Klein come across the line, see if he's going to improve anything. Currently 29th. Doesn't look like he's going to go up the board any, so he's staying back.
Bear margin right now down on all of 4 sectors, but and well, in progress on the last one, so not expecting any improvements here either for that Star Spangled number 6 entry. David Elkin, green in 1 and 3, down in 2 and 4. If he can put together a good sector 5, might have something for the top 30 here. He does get in another good lap, so for Elkin, where does this put him? Answer, still 37. He's improved by over a second, but that is not enough to bump him up ahead of Adam Klein in 36th. He is still...
What about Verhulst?
He's still about 2 seconds back for Elkin there. Here comes Verhulst.
Verhulst, four green sectors so far, and he's got a toe down the front straightaway. If he gets a good run, this could be a decent lap. Currently 28th. Coming up to the start-finish line, what can Verhulst do? What kind of lap time can we see out of him? Oh man, it's going to be a great one from oh my goodness, just about ties Ronenberg 0.003 of a second behind Eric Ronenberg for the top spot in qualifying. What a lap from the 12.
That is about as good as you can hope for when you are all the way down in 28th entering this final minute of the qualifying session. He won't have time to get another lap in, but I think he can be very, very proud with that effort right at the buzzer.
Where in the world did that come from Ryan Verhulst, man? I mean...
We saw green, and I was expecting, I mean, he's in 28th. That should get him easily into the top 20, I would hope. Maybe up to 15 if he's lucky. I didn't think second was on the cards.
There was no purple. There was no purple. He was all green at 28th, and there's no purple, and he goes all the way to second, only 0.003 behind Ronenberg.
If there was a purple, that could have been... if there was a purple sector, that could have been the jump to get him onto the pole. Justin Hall, I think, might be the last driver that can realistically contend for the top 15 in qualifying here.
See what Hall can do. He's got 3 green sectors so far. How bad was that yellow one? And what's this last one going to look like? The last corner didn't look too bad from Justin Hall. Coming across the line, though, not going to be great. The last sector ends up being yellow as well. Going to be a little bit slower than what he had ran. So Justin Hall's not going to improve on his time, but he's going to destroy his car in spectacular fashion.
And with all that, we take things down and around. It is time to see how racing action is going to line on up as we get set to duke it out for one final sprint race. Here, it's the sprint for the Finger Lakes Tow Fest. Welcome to the last sprint race for the 2024 calendar year. Aaron Ronenberg is on pole alongside Ryan Verhulst with Austin Tucker in third, Alexander Clank in fourth. Then is Kyle Blevins, Carson Catlin, Darren Bai, Alex Cofford, Shane Cameron, and Michael Derby for the top 10. From there you got Aaron Thacker, Brooks Clayton, Jake Kasich, Ron Wolf, Tom Badol, Chris Bright, Josh Freed, Justin Hall, Matthew Dupuy, Jordan Babcock, Chris Flams, Ben Williams, Tyler Carlton, Corey Barrett, Steve McClendon, Jeremy Castro, Ethan Condi, Evan Campbell, Tanner Klein, Sean Bradley, with Bear Morton, Kyle Smith, Greg Beckman, Blake Gambrell, Tyler Vietman, Adam Klein, David Elkin, Matt Versteuben, Tyler Augustine, Giovanni Rano, and Adam Joseph Mailhawk closing out the field. So close to even 40.
I would rather have more than less. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm an even Steven fan as much as anybody, but I'm also a more is greater than less. Unless we're, a big wreck fest and it, turns into a show every single week. But at the beer league, we do get our wrecks, but it's never, well, other than Mount Panorama, it's never gotten to, quite the show level. So around here, I'm A-okay. I might be overreacting.
Well, to be fair, last week's race at Interlagos, arguably one of the best races we have ever seen with this league. Lots of phenomenal racing, absolutely minimal wrecks. I don't think there was one crash that had more than 3 or 4 cars piled up at any given point, and the battle for the lead was nothing short of at least a 5-way slugfest from start to finish. It was hard to find a breath. All cars are gridded. Revs start to build. It's the final sprint race, the final qualifying race of 2024. Upstate New York rolls to life for green.
Ronenberg with a really good jump down into turn number 1. He's going to get himself to the outside of the racetrack. Be able to get himself as wide of an entry angle down into 1, 2 wide for third, further back. Austin Tucker's going to take it, coming down into the corner, further back, multiple rows of 3 wide, but everybody's going to be able to get through. Okay, we've seen week in and week out. The last few weeks, the beer league has just continued to impress on lap 1s. It has been super clean coming through the S's. Single file now as we head down towards the carousel.
All cars fanning out in one massive line as we rip our way up the hill, down the back straightaway, entering that critical junction. Norman's bus stop chicane. This time, it's a massive straightaway, 3 wide for the lead. Austin Tucker backs out. Ronenberg takes away the top spot as we come down in towards the carousel for the first time tonight.
Ronenberg started in the lead. Verhulst took it down the straightaway, and then Ronenberg took it back at the end of the straightaway. You were talking about the Le Mans straight. Man, I think this Watkins Glen straight is going to be some madness all night long. And, well, Verhulst, he is not safe. Austin Tucker looking to pick up another spot, get himself up into second. He's ducking down to the inside, making contact with the 12. Verhulst way far to the outside of the racetrack. He's going to tumble down the running order. He's going to lose a handful of spots.
You see all that dust getting kicked up in the background. Remember the debris refresh that's been done on iRacing. Something right through gets hurt. Covered is dumped as well. Multiple cars around into the heel. And now spinning that wide. Verhulst dumped again. Jake Kasich's around middle of the pack. Here we go. Covered's involved. They're stacking them up big time. All throughout the heel. We work our way back around to the front straightaway, and they're wrecking again. The 338's in the wall.
Oh, man. Verhulst just got turned 3 wide, everybody pinching each other, and they just got, way too close for comfort. Seeing still 3 2-wide battles here coming down to the last corner. Ben Williams kind of backing out, coming down in that 187, that pink car on the outside. Shane Cameron in the 74, leading the charge on the outside, trying to pick up the spot. But man, Verhulst, got to feel for the guy. Put down a unbelievable qualifying lap at the last second. Oh, Justin Hall, what in the world was that coming down to turn number 1? He was skating.
I think he got a hit from behind and had to really jam on the binders. 1 car's around, it's Carson Catlin back in the field. The 42 is spun as well. Middle of the pack. Oh, and he's going to get trailed hard by David Elkin right in the middle of the pack there on that one. That was Greg Beckman that took a hellacious hit. Meanwhile, how about this? Shades of Le Mans tandem drafting down the back straightaway with Tucker and Ronenberg, and here comes everyone else. Fanning out, 3 wide down to turn number 5.
Well, the Fruity Pebbles machine further back just about destroyed himself and a couple others with him. But man, coming down to the carousel, Josh Freed trying to fight around the outside. Justin Hall had a moment a couple corners ago, and he's still trying to fend off a hoist of hungry challengers behind him. Everybody lined up. Oh, 1 skating off to the outside of the racetrack. Can't quite tell who it is. Dropping multiple spots. A 703 Matthew Dupuis just about lost it. Did a good job keeping it on the racetrack, but they're still side by side at the front of this battle.
It's all action all the time. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The walls are as close at this racetrack as they are at just about any other. Up and over the rise, coming on down towards the heel. Still fanning out multiple lanes deep here in this one. No one's able to get a break. Alex Covert still stopped off the side of the heel, and he is not going to be moving, I feel, until the end of this race here this afternoon. Roddenberry, Tucker, Clank on a 3-car breakaway for the lead.
Yeah, Clank did a really good job hanging on to the back of these guys. You saw Roddenberry and Tucker. Oh, we got a couple spinners at the back. Carson Catlin involved again.
Blake Gambrill, Ethan Condy also involved as the 79 just gets into the back of the tube pretty heftily there. Then Catlin just goes, whoa, and there goes someone else that came screaming in, and that was Kyle Smith.
Everybody's having a hard time coming down the little short chute in the boot tonight. Kind of a weird spot you wouldn't expect, but man, coming over the S's, the front three bump drafting like they're at Talladega. I mean, I thought Austin Tucker was going to go around off the nose of Eric Roddenberry, but now Roddenberry going to go to the outside. Alexander Clank, though, he's going to go with Tucker down on the inside of the straightaway up towards the carousel. Roddenberry's just going to be a sitting duck here, stuck on the outside as both these guys funnel down. Clank looking to the inside, Tucker giving him a lane, but Tucker's going to cover that off as they get down to the apex of the corner. A little bit further back, Justin Hall still hanging on. 4 wide down into the carousel. Bit of contact. A couple of them still trying to hang on. The 18, Tanner Klein, Adam Klein, just barely able to hang on to that thing.
How about that? 4 wide down the back straightaway on the approach to this corner, and cannot understate just how intense that got. Take a quick step back and look at them already fanning out down the chute.
Oh my goodness, they're 4 wide down the entire thing. I mean, they had this thing going the entire straightaway. What a job. We see leagues do this all the time at 50 miles an hour right before the race, but man, how often do you see it at speed coming down to the carousel at Watkins Glen? What a job those guys did just to hang on to the cars, even with a little bit of contact coming down. Chris Bright still in a side-by-side battle. I mean, heck, 3 rows of side-by-side battles just inside the top 10 and outside. I mean, the racing here tonight so far has been nothing short of fantastic.
I love the fact that we are here for a season finale. There's seldom any other racetrack in North America that provides as great racing for club cars as Watkins Glen does. And it so pleases me that this is where we get to close out a calendar year. I could almost think of no other fitting place.
It's my favorite road course in the world, so I'd have to agree with you 100%.
Oh, that's going to be big.
Big contact, big with Ben Williams. Ben Williams goes around, coming down to turn 1. Oh, I think is that Aaron Thacker with him as well, coming down towards that big blue safer tire barrier wall. The front 3 still bump drafting down the long straight, trying to give themselves as big of a gap as possible, so they just fight this thing out between themselves. Coming down to the end of the heat race, still 8 minutes to go. And all these guys still committed to the back bumper from each other, but further back, nobody else really seems to be willing to work together. Unless you're in a 2x2 battle, then maybe you'll push the guy in front of you, but Castro around the outside of Bright, coming down to the carousel. He's trying to make it work. Another 2x2 battle coming down to the carousel further back. I mean, it doesn't matter where you look, you're going to see some 2x2.
Once again, we're left with a conundrum. What do we follow? Because there's so much going on all over the racetrack. Corey Barrett swings out wide, trying to get around the outside of Jeremy Castro. That gives him the inside for the toe.
Barrett really getting onto the curb on the inside, maybe running Castro a little bit wider than he had originally meant to, but they're going to stay side by side. This is the straight that for some reason so many people have had a ton of issues at so far during this heat race, and coming down to this corner, for whatever reason, this braking zone catching people out. But here, Barrett, Castro going through side by side, no issues. Castro, though, going well wide. So does
look at
Chris Bright in front of him. Bright smoking.
Look at all the dust that started to accumulate down to the bottoms, or on the outside of the racetrack there. All of that is a part of IRC's new debris refresh. Remember, it's possible to drag grass, dirt, gravel, dust onto the racing line, and that can extremely hamper racing grip in corners like that. not ideal when these cars are on the ragged edge as it is.
That's one of the coolest advancements iRacing has made in a long time. To be able to be able to accurately make something like that work. I'm shocked, honestly. I think that's a heck of an advancement in the iRacing service. And man, I'm telling you, it's going to be dangerous coming up to certain corners. You're just going to have to know. Oh no! Coming out of turn number 1, multiple drivers just stopped on the racing groove. Oh, and a big collision. Multiple drivers just piling in. I can't believe that ended up not being bigger than what it was. Only about 4 or 5 guys getting involved, but it could have been a lot bigger than what it was. Verstappen hanging on after a little bit of a bump.
This all started with Steve McClendon, Matthew Dupuis having a hand to play in this as well. As look at this, all came together coming down the racetrack. There's McClendon going around, and then there's Dupuis, and he's one of the ones that gets caught right in the middle of the racetrack. Now this is shades of Ryan Newman in I think 2008, I think it was, and oh my goodness, just a huge
that could have been
there.
That could have been massive. I don't know, like Verstappen was able to drive away from that thing and let his car repair. That could have been way bigger. We could have seen a car spinning, flying through the air, but instead Verstappen able to keep it on the ground, and Dupuis able to keep his 4 wheels on the ground as well and keep racing. So that's one that we expect to be a little bigger. If I see a car sitting on you know, the racing groove on exit, I'm willing to bet it's going to be pretty daggone bad. But while that's happened, Alexander Klenk has taken the race lead away. Ronenberg up to second, and Tucker has fallen back to third.
Tucker on the backslide. He'll drop to the end of that 3-way fight for the lead. Oh, we got a disagreement going on here. Look out as Brooks Clayton losing a huge amount of positions as he just got completely crossed up on the exit of the boot section of the racetrack. Now 3 wide into the penultimate corner. Jake Kasich going to get through the middle of that mess and take some spots away. Coffin has now found a new viewing position, but he's facing the wrong way to be watching the race and judging photo finishes on the front stretch.
I think he just wants to be a part of the photo.
He wants to be.
I think he wants to be the focal point.
There we go, side by side for the lead. Austin Tucker dropping back majorly out of this fight for the lead. No idea what's happened to Tucker. It's now a 2-way fight. Ronenberg's just taking that spot over Alexander Klenk.
Tucker just had a terrible turn 1, went way wide. Watching him come back on the track, I don't know. I think, yeah, he just was so wide on turn 1, he lost a ton of ground. I don't know, he could very well could have had a slowdown penalty as well. I'm not too sure. That's how wide he went. But still seeing just about 3 wide. Josh Freed thinking about sticking it up the middle. Thinks better of it. Adam Klein around the outside in that number 18. Trying to pick up another spot. Adam running up in the top 15. Really good night for Adam.
Oh!
Maybe, oh, well, he's going to get himself one on the kill board too. So Adam running in the top 15, and he has taken out the number 69. What a night for Adam Klein.
The 69 engine going to drop down the field as Augustino drops back as a result. Now side by side up over the rise. Headed up now by Josh Freed. Side by side with Adam Klein, Brooks Clayton, and then the main pusher right now, Tanner Klein in the fray as well. Oh, contact! Oh. The Kleins have friendly fire, and that's going to send Klein to the inside. Baron Morton drops in. Freed hangs on around the outside of 3 wide, and we keep it straight.
Oh man, the Kleins come together, like you said, a little bit of friendly fire, but Adam able to hang on to it, but he's still under fire. Brooks Clayton not willing to let him keep the spot. Both the Kleins end up getting through there, but well, there was at least one fatality coming out of that one, unfortunately. But man, the racing so far in the heat race has been nothing short of fantastic. Man, Adam Klein just put Verhulst in the fence coming out of the last corner. I'm not quite sure if Coffer could see that or not.
Uh-oh, problems with Corey Barrett. I think an internet problem for Corey Barrett. Drops him outside. Oh, no.
What in the world? Somebody just went straight into turn number 1. Some white car just, I mean, absolutely straight line to somebody. I cannot believe what...
Could that have been Jordan Babcock, perhaps?
Yeah, I believe it was.
Coming down the hill. And wow, no brakes. slammed into the door of Darren By.
Ooh. It looked like he had a target on him. I definitely don't think he did. He just locked up the brakes. He broke way too late and then locked them up. But man, it looked like he had an absolute bullseye on him coming through there. A man with a plan, a little bit of vengeance. Like I said, I don't think that was the case. But, oh, another incident. Oh, and another one. Steve McClendon getting sent off.
Good grief.
Was in the middle of the 3-wide battle.
It's evolving fast here in the last 2 minutes of this one. Your field is going to come around with 1 lap to go, this time at the line. It'll be a race between Ronenberg and Glen for the top spot, but right now, some huge drama is going on up and down. And by the way, this fight right here, this is for the transfer spot for pole position. Brooks Clayton right now the one that holds it.
So Clayton in 12th. He's got 3 seconds in front of him, and none of the guys in front of him are typical droppers out at the end of the heat races. So this is legitimately the race for the 12th place position, the race for the transfer up to the pole. Kasich on the back bumper, not willing to go for it just yet. And man, Clayton, he doesn't even have a chance to gain any spot. There's nobody close, 3 seconds ahead. Not going to be able to give yourself a buffer. Instead, you're just completely on the defense, and Kasich is all over that back bumper. Looking to the inside, down the front straightaway. But it looks like Clayton's got the help on the outside. Michael Derby is going to go with Clayton, give him a bump. Coming down, Kasich, though, just going to outdrive him down to the entrance of the corner, try to clear him on exit, but they're still side by side coming down to the S's.
This is to see who starts on pole position as Brooks Clayton shifted out wide. Kasich holds it. Michael Derby is pushing for it. Josh Freed also in the mix with a chance. So are other cars behind that all want to have a mark.
Oh, and Clank's to the inside of Ronenberg. Clank and Ronenberg are side by side for the lead here in the heat race too. Both these guys going for the heat race win. Ronenberg back to the inside. Clank trying to undercut him, coming down into the boot, and the race for 12th is still heating up.
3 wide amongst the pair, and it's going to be Kasich to try to fend him off. 3 wide, deeper the field. Ronenberg still hanging on for the heat race lead. Still 3 abreast. They come on down in towards the angle. I guess you could call it the ankle section of the boot, maybe the shin section perhaps. Here comes Freed to the big lunge, and now you see Clank back to the inside of Ronenberg as we hit the heel. Look at the over-under from Ronenberg. Ronenberg trying to pressure for the top spot, while Alexander Clank hangs on for number 2 for the time being. Clank to the lead. Ronenberg in second. Not a lot of opportunities for Ronenberg to get that spot back. He's out wide. He's into the tires. That might be in. Might be game over. Look at this fight. No! Derby gets dumped by Freed. And now it's going to be a scrap between Kasich and Clayton to see who starts on pole this race. Coming to the final corner. Alexander Clank off of that final turn. Might be Clank. Might still be Ronenberg. Ronenberg's closing. He won't close quick enough. Alexander Clank wins the sprint. Who starts on pole?
Oh, it's been an absolute dogfight for the 12th place spot. Kasich has got it right now, but Brooks Clayton all over the back bumper. But man, he's giving him so much room down to the last corner. Kasich drives it in deep. Brooks Clayton down to the inside. Can he beat him down to the line? Gonna be side-by-side finish. Not quite. Jake Kasich gonna be the guy to start on pole. Man, photo finish for the heat race win and photo finish for who's gonna start on pole. What a heat race for the season finale.
That was
Holy
awesome, and oh
Jake
boy.
Kasich.
What is going on here?
Jake Kasich just took off to space.
Oh, there goes somebody else being punted up over the wall. Here comes a few more to join the party. It's typical Beerly shenanigans, and I think it's awesome that we are having one of the most wild Beerly scenes post-race in the season finale. I mean, come on, you can't have it any better than that.
Watkins Glen has the best corner for it. I mean, turn 1 here, it's a very short runoff, no gravel, nothing. It's absolutely perfect. It's great in the cup cars too. You do a little back, or you do a, you're moving backwards, but you're doing a front flip. It's fantastic, man, the most fun. But you will get disqualified, so you gotta be a little bit careful. But man, in the beer league, these slower cars, you don't have to worry about that too much. So these guys are having fun with it, man. Like, this is probably the best spot they could go to for it.
Just waiting on the last couple of cars to cross the line. That was an absolutely phenomenal sprint race, though. And that's it. That's the last sprint race we're going to be seeing until January 1st, when we return for preseason action. in 2025. Let's take a chance to run down on how all of this pans on out in the next little while. It is going to be none other than Alexander Klenk taking it by less than a tenth over Eric Ronenberg for the sprint. That it was Tucker, Hall, Madolo, Flams, Bright, Castro, Blevins, and Brad with Campbell and Kasich to close out the top 12. Overall, then, I think that was a very great heat race there, Austin, and there is still a long way to go. 1 hour left before the season is over.
Yeah, that was maybe our best heat race of the season. So I'm pretty jazzed up for this main event. I think this 60-minute feature that we've got is going to be absolutely fantastic. Maybe expect a little bit more helping together at the front of the field. Even the guys that don't finish in or don't run up in the top 3 or 5. I feel like they're gonna maybe try to work together a little bit more and stay in the fight for the win rather than what we saw in the heat race where everybody just seemed to be bickering and fighting over spots. So I think a lot of guys probably learned some lessons off of that one, and we're gonna see them put to the test here in the main event.
Well, while we still got a little bit of time, I'm going to take a rundown of what's coming up on Green Flag TV. Pretty much every league is closed down for the winter break. High Time Racing League is not back until January 6th, but while Monday and Wednesday night might be the last of the weekday races, the weekend is still jam-packed, full of action with the SRA IL Truck Series having their third preseason race at Texas Motor Speedway this coming Saturday. And then the SRL Winter Series with races 5 and 6 with twin 30-minute features, first in the mini stocks, then in the street stocks. They're racing at Southern National Motorsports Park as the Ironman Championship enters its third week of competition. They'll continue racing all throughout the winter break with no stops, so don't worry, you still got weekly racing coming up on Green Flag TV. And Austin, it's good that we still have some leagues to keep us entertained over the course of the winter. It's going to be a shame not having Beer League to call every single week, but hey, they're back on January 1st. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, you say that, but I like my breaks. I love the beer league, but man, it's a year-long endeavor. I like my little breaks whenever I get them. Now, you still like to keep yourself busy, keep yourself going nuts 100% of the time. That's why you like to keep these weekend races running. So you're a bit off your rocker, but man, I like I'm like every normal person out there. I like my breaks.
Listen, this is about as much social interaction as I get in a week. So can you blame me at all?
Oh, I feel you.
Well, let's see. We got, an hour of racing action coming on up in about, 2.5 minutes? Am I correct on that, Austin?
2 minutes and 18 seconds.
Yeah, okay. Close enough. What are you talking about, man? Let's what do you think?
Look, I was giving you exact.
Are you pegging any driver for potential win tonight? I
hope I'm not pegging any driver.
Well, I can't decide who's going to take a win for this one. Who are you picking to win?
You know what? I like what I saw from Kasich at the end there. He took that 12th position, photo finish at the line, able to hang on to it. Like I said, I think track position is everything. Being up there to avoid the wrecks is a big thing, and being able to be in one of those lead packs, in one of those lead drafts down the straights. And man, he did that big kickflip, spaceship boom into the sky after the finish, and I think that's a good sign that he's going to win tonight.
Well, you know what? I think I'm going to go with Alex Crawford. He's gotten 5 wins on the season. Who's to say he can't go for just one more? We'll get to all of that in just a moment. For now, we'll take ourselves a step back. It'll be the United States of America National Anthem. We'll return with the grid. Time is just about there. It is about time for us to take a rundown once again of how racing action is going to kick on off. One final race to go. It's final bracket rights coming on out from upstate New York. Let's run down one more time through that starting grid. Jake Kasich is on the pole for the main event alongside Evan Campbell. Sean Bradley will be up there in the number 3 position alongside Kyle Blevins. From there, it's Jeremy Castro and Chris Bright, Chris Flams and Tom Badol, Justin Hall and Austin Tucker, Eric Ronenberg alongside your sprint race winner, Alexander Klenk, on row number 6. Moving down to the field, it is Brooks Clayton, Adam Klein, Ben Williams, Josh Freed, Tyler Augustino, Ryan Verhulst, with Ron Wolf, Shane Cameron, Tanner Klein, Darren Bine, Tyler Carlton, Michael Derby, Matthew Dupuis, Adam Joseph Hot, Aaron Thacker, Jordan Babcock, Tyler Feedham, Barrett Morton, Mac Verstupen, Blake Gambrill, Ethan Condi, Carson Catlin, Kyle Smith, Greg Beckman, David Elkin, Corey Barrett, Steve McClendon, Giovanni Romano, and Alex Copper brings up the tail of the field in 41st.
41 cars for the season finale here in the Beer League. Sounds pretty good around Watkins Glen International. Like I said, my favorite road course in the entire world. Gosh, I absolutely love this place, and the Beer League is going to absolutely do it justice here tonight. We saw it in the heat race. Fantastic race for multiple spots, including the race lead, photo finish for the lead, photo finish for what was going to be pole. And I gotta say, there were just battles throughout the entire field, the entire race. So I know that the 60-minute feature is going to be one of the best we've seen all year.
We've had some good ones this season that have really been hard to contend with. Le Mans was fantastic. Interlagos, one of the best leagues, potentially, dare I say, in this league's history. Could Watkins Glen be a potential contender? The last time we were here with the Toyota GR86s, it was a trip, to put it mildly. One of the most wild flips we have ever seen in Green Flag TV's history on a road course. Now just waiting for 2 more cars to grid on up before we will get this show back on the road. Alex Cofford will miss the call, so we are down to just 40 cars. Red start to build. Only 1 hour of racing is left in the 2024 year for the Beer League. The last race of season number 9 is green.
Jake Kasich with a great jump down towards turn number 1. Evan Campbell in second, didn't get a good jump. He's going to fall to third, fall to fourth even as Jeremy Castro gets through coming out of turn number 1. Three rows of 3 wide coming down through the first corner, and everybody again able to get through clean, up the S's again, 3 wide for third place. Jeremy Castro was looking for it, not able to take it. But man, early on in the feature, not a lot of friends already.
Not a lot of friends being made throughout the field. Now still looking for 2, looking potentially for 3 as he worked down the back straightaway in Thunder Valley. All the way down the long back stretch. We bypass the inner loop into the carousel for the first time tonight. As some cars swing way out wide. That was Alexander Klenk. Overall, a very organized first salvo of laps. Save for about a 5-car pileup that we had in the back of the field trying to get off the line.
Yeah, but we saw in that heat race, right, it was clean until we got to the ending of the boot, right? The ending of the boot was the first big danger spot. So are we going to see something similar at the end of lap number 1 here? Everybody been able to play it safe so far, play it clean. But like you said, at the very beginning of the race, about a 5-car pileup. Oh, is that Blake Gambrill just getting it sideways, clipping Catlin? Ends up only being a 3-car incident here. 2 guys getting stuck sideways. Oh, Chris Bright goes around from the top 5 into that same corner that it all kicked off on beforehand. He takes Justin Hall with him, so 2 cars going off to the outside of the racetrack. They're going to bring on a lot of that dirt that you were talking about earlier. A little bit of contact there too, as Justin Hall tries to get back on. That might cause some grip issues that you were talking about with the new update. Josh Freed also off the racetrack, or off the racing groove, going to be able to get himself back on, find himself a gap.
And there was Chris Bright, there was Justin Hall, both spinning off the racetrack. They get into the wall, and then Josh Freed with problems of his own, and just looped that one all by himself.
Almost like there was dust on the racetrack on the inside there for Freed. I mean, just looped it. Got to think maybe cold tires got to him a little bit, carrying a little bit too much speed on the entrance to that corner down to the apex. And I don't know. It was just weird how the back end stepped out on right on the apex. But man, one through the grass. Clayton just absolutely driving the 70. Who is that through the dirt? The 74 Shane Cameron through the dirt.
Wow, that was aggressive there. Shane Cameron put into the grass in the middle of the SS, and that's going to force these guys 3 wide, tail of the field. They're still double file up the road as well, but all eyes on the main pack. This could be where we get issues as we work our way down the back chute into the carousel. And right now, the 338 of Michael Derby out wide. Carlton is in the middle, trying to fend off the line, and I think for the most part, we've gotten this pack sorted.
Derby doing a great job keeping the momentum around the outside, picking up a couple positions, and now flowing it down to the entrance of that next corner, able to stay side by side with Shane Cameron. So he's picked up a couple spots and now in a side-by-side battle for 16th. Gonna be tough to be able to keep that momentum around the outside here, hang on to that left rear if he can of the 74. Looks like he's gonna be able to do it again, so Derby hanging on, being able to make a charge here at the opening portion of this race, at least on this lap. He's picked up a good couple spots. He's going to end up clearing Shane Cameron before we even get down to the end of the boot. And man, just way deeper on the brakes for the 338. Maybe a little bit too deep. Ends up widening out that exit, letting Shane Cameron get back to his back bumper, and then a little bit narrow coming up further after that. A little bit further up, though, Castro losing a couple positions. Ronenberg gets by, and now he's trying to take another one on Sean Bradley. Bradley in the 00. Doing really good up in the top 5 right now, but Ronenberg looking to pick up a couple spots as Castro ends up taking one back from him.
Oh, Castro, though, almost catches the saber bear on the outside of the racetrack. Ronenberg closing in with some help now from that one car deep in the pack. Sean Bradley will go up to 3rd as he gets around Evan Campbell. That was top of Dole, pushing Ronenberg down the front straightaway. Still double file for 3rd. As Campbell breaks clear from Sean Bradley. Evan Campbell now working his way back up the hill with Sean Bradley in tow. You got the 24 now of Castro in the mix. And there goes Ronenberg, 3 wide around the outside.
Oh, these guys, they got to start working together. The front 2 are broken apart. This is your time where if you just bump draft, you're going to be able to catch these guys. Instead, they're all splintering off. Still able to get in these little 2x2 battles. Ronenberg giving a huge shove here to Evan Campbell. Coming down to the carousel, but Sean Bradley gets a bigger shove. Bradley almost into the dirt. Campbell not giving him a lot of room. Caution window just opening, and we're 3 wide and coming down into the boot. This is not what you want to see. If you're in this pack, they should be working together, catching the front 2 that have been separated for this last lap, but instead they're losing time.
This was the same problem that we ran into at Interlagos just 1 week ago. No, look out! One car turned hard into the wall. That was, I think, Shane Cameron. Evan Campbell gets turned in there as well. And now more cars, they're falling apart as we come in through the heel.
What in the world has happened out of the heel? The boot, the absolute chaos through the boot. Oh, and it continues. Shane Cameron just piles in. Sorry, Steve McClendon. Oh, it's just not even over. Nobody's lifting. Yellow flags be damned. I mean, they don't even matter.
And are they still, or have we finally stopped? I think we finally come to a halt. But good grief. What a melee. That is
There's not a lot of room. There's not a lot of room to wreck at Watkins Glen.
No
That's
kidding.
for sure.
That is just annihilated a good half of the field right there. And we'll have to try to get a look back on what the heck happened. Happened with Evan Campbell and more. It just all goes awry. That was the first impact there. There you see Castro getting spun off the racetrack. Another car goes off in sympathy, and then that was where Verhulst got dumped by Clank, and it was on from there.
Honestly, Verhulst was just pinching him very, very tight. Clank just about had his right side tires on the grass on the inside. Verhulst not really giving him a lot of room, and both of those guys go around. And obviously the big chaos we saw afterwards, the wreck that just lasted forever here. Down the bottom of the boot. So tough break. Like I said, though, they should have been, if they would have just been working together down that straightaway where they would have caught a second on the race leaders and all been fine and dandy, but instead they just bit off a little bit more than they could chew here in the early going.
Now, one thing that could still save all of them is a code 60. Now remember, we've been using this a few times since Le Mans throughout the course of this championship. Instead of having your traditional safety car appearance, when a code 60 is declared, drivers race back to the line. They then slow to 60 kilometers an hour, or about 45 miles an hour. And then they proceed to pace around, wait for the field to catch up. You are allowed to pit during this time, coming to the line. Then you double up, and you go green whenever the leader is ready to do so. So that it's a
down to the inside.
It's a huge change in the caution procedures, right? And that could have a huge impact on how this race pans out.
Yeah, but I've liked it. I've liked it a lot. You know, like you said, we introduced it at Le Mans, and I felt like it made that race a million times better, right? If we had the normal caution procedures, or just didn't have cautions at Le Mans, I feel like it just wouldn't have felt quite right for beer league standards. And if we had cautions, it would have taken 30 minutes out of the race if we had a yellow. So I'm happy with the way that went, and it's been great since. So kind of hopeful that we see that at some point, especially now that most of the field has kind of been shattered apart. It looked like we might have been able to get a 20-car train for the race lead if everybody from third on back could cooperate, but instead they decided to implode and shatter into a million pieces, and now the field is kind of looking the same.
Double pile again as we work our way down the back chute. You're looking at Carlton, Wolf, there goes Clank, making the look for 3 wide. Tyler Carlton, look at Clank! 5 spots gained in the matter of seconds down the straightaway with the slingshot.
Yeah, Clank getting it done, but he's still stuck in a side-by-side battle. Now has the outside against Tyler Carlton. Can he hang on? No, Carlton's just going to drive it in deep, and Ronenberg's going to drive him out to the outside of the racetrack. Oh, and now he just gets junked into the outside wall. Everything Clank just got absolutely evaporated in a matter of seconds, and they're still wrecking coming down into the boot. Ben Williams involved as Clank comes back on the racetrack. Oh, and Williams sends one in the air and up and over.
And they might not be done yet, still trying to gather it up, and I think finally we got some order with us. That was Barrett Morton that got sent skyward. A massive accident, though, coming down in towards the boot.
You know, I said in the pre-race that I was really wishing we were on the NASCAR layout, and as this night has unfolded, I'm starting to think I'm not the only person out here thinking the same thing. I'm thinking a lot of these guys wish that the boot did not exist.
Look at the tumble from Barrett Morton. Went for pirouettes in the air. That was a violent ride that the Bandit Motorsports number 6 car took. A hard shot into the wall and then right on board with Morton.
Oh, up into the catch fence, Barrett Morton.
Jeez. Now the field's able to get it. Yeah, no kidding. The field's able to get itself sorted. Kasich and Blevins are working together right now to hang on to the lead. Cameron and Wolf are together. Kyle Smith has gone around in turn 1. He's found the wall somewhere.
Yeah, Kyle Smith missing the front end there for a moment. Waiting on that damage repair, but getting a replay back down into the boot. Or sorry.
Trying to find it. There we go.
Catlin to the inside. Did we see contact between the two?
Oh!
No. Oh, what in the world? Somebody else in front of him. Verstappen getting sideways coming out of turn number 1, and well, they just couldn't get slowed down in time.
Watkins Glen's got a flair for the dramatic. I mean, remember back to how many races we've had this year with that run, right? Remember the last time we had a beer league race here, and the Toyota GR86s, and the monstrosity of a flip that we had in the preseason race. Remember, even back to the VSCA Sports Car Championship with the 6 hours of the Glen. 5 minutes in, you already had a car trying to vault the wall. You then had the biggest crash that league's history, 22 cars involved, with the Daimler Performance Mercedes-AMG going absolutely flying over the lot of them. And that wasn't in a beer league race. That was in an endurance race 2 hours in. This track just has something about it that brings out the animal in the driver.
think it's mostly that it's high speed. You know, it's not one of those slow technical road courses. It's high speed, it's daring, it's you got to put your car where other guys aren't willing to put it, and you got to make really daring moves to be able to pick up spots. You know, I just think it breeds that kind of racing. It's not that technical thing where you can just be a little bit smarter through a section than somebody and make up the time. It's high speed, it's playing the draft right, it's putting your car in the right position to slingshot past somebody at the end of the straightaway. You know, there's a lot of different variables to it that I just think lends itself to, you know, that kind of high level of action racing that we'd love to see, and that we've definitely seen a lot tonight.
Down the straight, 3 wide for a moment in this little group. This is the fight for the sixth place spot. Here's the fight for 8th. This was that big pack that's been really fractured, and it's going to be fractured some more. Top of goal going around, sent by Michael Derby into the grass. No harm, no foul. They'll just get a rolling bit of lost time, but that's all she wrote for that mess.
I bet you Todd Madol's not thinking no harm. I think he's feeling pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, how much is no harm, no foul when you have damage turned off, right? What do you consider no harm, no foul at that point?
I mean, rubbing fenders because you just don't want to lose time, right? I feel like road course racing, the main thing is just time loss. Like, you're racing the racetrack, not necessarily the people around you, especially in a longer race like this, 60 minutes. You know, I feel like it's a lot smarter to run your own pace, run your own race, run what you can, and don't run your stuff off. But obviously a lot of people don't agree with me, because we've seen a lot of hard racing tonight that makes it seem like not a lot of people care about minimizing time loss. At least not in the beer league, that's for sure.
Almost 15 minutes deep into the 1-hour main event this afternoon. This is the fight for 3rd, Ronenberg and Tucker. They've been trying to run down the top 2 for a while now. They've been working together, and they've been trying to slowly but surely chip away. Your leading pair are getting a bit further separated, which is going to help them out a bunch. But Ronenberg did lose 0.4 of a second on that last lap alone. We got issues deep in the field. Darren Bai with problems off the racetrack at turn 1. He just lost out to 6th.
Yeah, and he's dropping big time. Coming down in the turn. Whoa, okay. Turn 1, just losing the back end, taking too much speed down there. Oh, and then looping it back. Just, oh, man. From bad to worse for Darren Bai. He said was running up in 6th. Actually, crossed the line in 9th that lap beforehand, so he's falling back to 9th. Tough break for Darren Bai, though. Was running good up in the top 10. Now can't even find his name on the leaderboard there on the left.
McClendon, Williams, Bradley, Vietnam, all under a blanket right now as they fight it out amongst themselves. Trying to see who's got what for one another. At this point, we've single file things out for the most part. You see a 5, this used to be about a 15-way scrap for the 5th place spot here, but now it is down to just 4 because of all the crashes that we've had over the last 5 laps or so in this little battle pack. It has been splintered and fractured beyond recognition, and now just a bunch of smaller packs that have grouped up from drivers that have spun off with one another.
We've got a little bit of a reprieve here, though. We're starting to see a little bit of calmness. One guy just about going off in the grass a little bit further back. But other than that, not seeing, you know, too much of the door banging. Maybe we're starting to finally calm down into the ebbs and flows of a normal race, and we're done with the violence. Or maybe I'm just entirely way too optimistic.
Change of position here for 3rd. Austin Tucker going to allow Ronenberg to get through. While Kasich and Blevins have linked up with one another again. You see with the debris being kicked out from the tail of Aaron Thacker's car right now. What is that being kicked up from right now? Is that from a tire, or has he got some kind of branch caught in his exhaust pipe? He's shooting leaves all the way down the stretch here.
I imagine he dipped the left side of that thing in the grass for a little while, and it's...
That's more than a little while. I mean, that
still,
thing is a leaf blower right now.
What we're probably seeing is a graphical glitch, if I had. Well, no, it's gone now, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe
I don't know why it would last as long as it did, but I feel like it's just that he ran through the grass and it just lasted too long.
Could be, could be. Here's a big gaggle of cars. This is for 26th and back as they work their way into the boot. Headed up by Brooks Clayton, Mailhawk, Bright, Morton, and Smith all involved. Barrett Morton found himself upside down earlier in racing action this afternoon, and it was not a pleasant scene for Morton when he got kicked up and over early on, and well, this is how that came about with that number 6 car. It was a wild scene coming out of the into the heel.
Yeah, nothing he could do about it, right? He's following the racing line. Ben Williams had left it open, but was still kind of in the process of saving his car. Cuts back across the racing line, and Barrett Morton with nowhere to go. He had already committed to it. Was in the space and got kicked up in the air. Lost a good chunk of positions. Oh, and he's going to lose a good chunk more here now because he just spun back off into the guardrail. Barrett Morton gone from that battle that we just saw. Now stuck, facing the wrong way, just having to wait for cars to go by. Verhulst finally getting through. We're going to see coming over the ridge. He had a good run through the exit of the corner, but just ran up on the back there, Kyle Smith, and lost it.
Heard him get on the brakes to try to avoid running them over. I think he might have unsettled his own car and lost that all by himself as a result.
Yeah, I think he just, got out of the gas. The car's unloading out of that corner. It's a very weird cambered corner that kind of lends itself to those kinds of incidents, but it was very late at the end of that corner. But I gotta point something out. Code 60 beginning at the start-finish line. So these guys racing back to the caution flag here.
Now this could open up pit strategy as well. Who comes down pit road under this code 60? Take advantage of effectively a free pit stop now. David Elkin is immediately into pit road, not wasting any time. He was down to the tail end of the field, so he's just going to try to get himself sorted. Meanwhile, Thacker in it to win it now with Ron Wolf, Matthew Dupuis, Shane Cameron, and more all at bay. 40 minutes are on the clock exactly, so 20 down, 40 to go in the season finale, and there is the top two getting set to cross the line to kick off code 60, backing off big time, might be preparing for pit stops.
Kyle Blevins started in fourth, got himself up to the race lead here, and only 4 guys within a shouting distance of the race leader right now. And Blevins is going to bring that thing down to pit road, but Kasich right behind him. He's staying out on the racetrack, going to take race lead under this code 60. Choose not to come down pit road. It's kind of surprised there from Kasich.
Kasich stays out. So far, everybody else is in. And we mean everyone right now. So far, only a handful are staying out. Ben Williams and Carson Catlin stay out. Greg Beckman stays out. Oh, look out as, geez, drivers having to really jump on the binders here. So right now, out of all the cars on the racetrack, only the top 4 have stayed out on the racetrack, and that is continuing to be the trend all the way down through this field.
My goodness. I mean, just about everybody has come down pit road. Nobody willing to stay out on the racetrack. I gotta think if you're staying out, you're saving like crazy under this code 60 and hoping that this thing turns into a one-stopper, but oh man, I feel like you're asking for a lot.
I think this is the busiest we have ever seen pit road in the beer league before, right?
I think that might be a safe bet.
Only 4 cars staying out. Literally everybody else has come in.
In Kasich, effectively your pace car here as your lead runner running a 45-mile-an-hour pace down the long straightaway down towards the carousel, waiting for the field to gather up with them. Got to think we're going to have one more caution lap after this one.
Well, with all of that said and done, well, we don't know if it's going to be a caution lap. It might not even be a full caution lap. It's as soon as they get themselves doubled up. So we're going to take ourselves a quick step back, and for the rest, we'll return when they go double file. You're watching the Beer League in the Finger Lakes Tow Fest on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Doubling up, ready to go back to racing on Green Flag TV for the Finger Lakes Tow Fest. My name is Noel Rembo alongside Austin Edstrom. You're watching what will be the end of the first Code 60 of the night with Jake Kasich and Ben Williams heading up the way.
Yeah, Kasich leading after deciding to stay out. Ben Williams alongside him. Catlin also stayed on the racetrack, but everybody behind him, fourth on back, all deciding to come down pit road. So we know the front three are going to have to come down pit road in the next couple laps. You got to think, can they make the one stop work? Jake Kasich, he's hitting the gas pedal. We're going green.
Free flying back in the air as Jake Casey takes off, and it's falling apart. Cars fanning out. Oh boy, heads up as we got a lot of them kicking up grass and debris all over the place onto the racetrack. What was that for a restart lap?
I think it's everybody was going through that corner at a different speed than they had the entire night, so they had no idea what the heck they were doing whenever they got to the exit of the corner. And they're probably not going to know what to do the next time by either, because there's probably a lot of debris out on the exit of that racetrack. A lot of grass is kicked up. There could be a little bit of a loss of grip the next time by for these guys, so we're going to have to wait and see.
Up and over the rise. Remember, first, second, and right now seventh have all not pitted under that code 60. And the first slowdown of the night, which could sorely hamper their movements over the course of the next little while. 32 minutes are on the docket. This code 60 came out with about 37 minutes on the clock. First time we got to green. Whoa, look out.
Ooh.
Somebody just spun around into pit road. That was Ryan Verhulst. Thought for a
Terrible
moment they were
for
going to
Verhulst.
nail the pit wall like we've seen in the NASCAR Cup Series back in 2007.
It's worst case scenario if you're Verhulst. I mean, not only have you been, spun out, but you've gotten spun out and down pit road, and now you're having to just, excuse me, slowly trek down pit road at 45 miles an hour. So, tough break for Verhulst. Just a huge time penalty, especially on a restart. All of a sudden, you could be top 20, and now all of a sudden you're at the very, very back.
There was Vietnam and Verhulst both getting spun around at turn 1 as well. And everyone else, look at this huge fan out all the way down the carousel. Oh, Ron Wolf out wide off the banking. He's going to be able to get it sorted. How about this side, though, as we work through the carousel back down to the heel. Looking for 4 wide. That never works into this corner. They're going to get it down to triple.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't think anybody here knows how to take it easy. Kyle Smith off the road on the outside here. Oh, Chris Bright able to get through there with Adam Klein. Bradley on the back bumper, Freed coming through the heel. I mean, it just, no matter where you look, it's nonstop, man. Kasich still leading the way at the front with Ben Williams. Both these guys stretching their fuel tank to absolutely nothing. How far can they push it? Can they get this thing down to a one stop? Can they push it one more lap after this one?
Halfway home, 30 minutes down, 30 minutes to go. The rest of the battle pack is still hot on the heels of the top 3 that are starting to pull a little bit more of a gap. You follow the fight with Josh Freed, Sean Bradley, Tom Abdul. Now Freed could get turned. Bradley not given a lot of room to work with there.
And Kasich and Ben Williams staying out. Oh, McClendon around.
That's not a good spot. That's not a good spot.
Is that Aaron Thacker on the outside there with him in the 013?
Ooh, no, that's Alexander Clank.
Sorry, Clank.
How nobody hit them is beyond me.
We've seen it a couple times tonight where guys have been stuck on the racing groove, on the exit of corners, and somehow they're just not touched, or it's been a whole lot, more minor than I would have expected this time. I guess McClendon's far enough up out of the groove, and one car got sent around him, so ends up being okay. Kasich, though, losing a couple spots down the straightaway here, going from the lead back to 5th. It looks like Aaron Thacker going all the way up to the race lead.
Oh, he's overshot,
overshoots the
though.
carousel. Ben Williams back to the inside, trying to get there. It might be 3 wide before we get down to the boot.
3 wide for the lead, Thacker the inside, Williams in the middle, and Blevins out on the right. Blevins going to get shuffled out of line for this one. Ben Williams just hangs on around the outside, dipping 2 wheels into the grass. Aaron Thacker hanging on for 2nd, with now Kyle Blevins right back in 3rd. Rondenberg in 4th, Casey in 5th. 6-way scrap for the lead.
Ben Williams used all of the racetrack and then a little bit more to make sure that he hung on to the race lead there. And to be honest with you, I don't blame him. I mean, able to get a huge run out of that corner, get himself through to the race lead. How far can he push the fuel tank? Williams way off, everybody way off of the racetrack, bringing a lot of dust back onto the racing groove here. But Williams still cycling through to the lead, still seeing the smoke kicking up into the air. But man, what a drive from Ben Williams since this restart. Able to take the race lead away from Kasich in that mad scrum. And now hanging on to it from Aaron Thacker, but now looking down to pit road. Ben Williams coming down. Looks like Kasik's going to be able to stay out one more.
So Kasich stays out one more. Ben Williams is in this time by Ethan Condy and Blake Gambrill have come together. This is Ethan Condy. Self-spin, gonna loop this one by himself off of the curb as he loops the tail end, and Blake Gambrill. Oh, wow. Gambrill's up the road, so this is something completely different.
Gambrill coming through single file. Oh!
Wow!
Well, this is just the replay that keeps on giving.
I want to get another look at that with the look of Justin Hall, but for now, we got to fight for the lead here as Eric Ronenberg trying to make a jump with it. Two cars, tandem and Kasich pushing Ronenberg, while Thacker was shoved by Blevins. They're double file as he gets down in towards the boot. Somehow, we are able to keep things up and rolling here. What a wild fight we're seeing here for the race lead at Watkins Glen International. Thacker takes that one away as we enter the boot.
It's been crazy since the restart. Aaron Thacker hanging on to the race lead. Ronenberg still wanting a peek at it, looking to the outside. Thacker able to hang on as we're getting a replay. See exactly what happened. Something happened to Hall. No, it was the original crash. Hall, what a dodge from Hall on the initial incident. Oh Woo! My word, Justin Hall, holy cow. That's got to be moved. That's got to be dodge or miss of the year. That's insane.
Keanu Reeves would be proud of that one.
That's nuts.
We'll definitely get another look at that one before the end of this race. But for now, Eric Ronenberg takes up the top spot, and good for him on that. What a drive he is having this afternoon. Thacker trying to look back for the race lead.
Thacker looking back to the inside. Ronenberg missing the apex ever so slightly, but not really giving up too much ground. Kasich showing that he's coming to pit road. I think he might be just about out of gas, if not out of gas. I mean, he was slow down that straight. Coming down to the yellow cone, getting that thing down to pit road speed. Kasich making sure he can make it to the end, pitting with 25.5 minutes to go. Got to think that you're probably good to go from there. The rest of the field had pitted at about, about 25, I believe, with the caution flag. So about on time with the rest of the field. And it looks like a lot of other guys deciding, hey, I can make it from here, might as well make the pit stop.
Castro, Flams, Freed are all in the pit road with these guys. Meanwhile, Kyle Blevins looking to the outside of Aaron Thacker. Ronenberg maintaining his run. Thacker going to push the 017 clear. Now Thacker abandons Ronenberg, switches it up, goes with teammate Kyle Blevins down the back straightaway. As Blevins takes that spot through, they're going to dump Ronenberg back to third.
I don't know what kind of games we're seeing out of the top three. I don't know if it's fuel-saving games or what, but I mean, Ronenberg just about lifting half of that straightaway, it felt like, giving up positions. Thacker almost looking like he was trying to give second back away. I couldn't quite tell what was, oh, code 60 will begin at start-finish line.
I love it. I love it.
What in the world is going on?
All hell is about to break loose. I hope you know that.
I mean, I'm kind of speechless. I don't know how the strategy is going to play out now. This definitely helps out guys like, Ben Williams, Kyle Blevins that came down early, making sure they can make it. They're just going to be able to punch the clutch in and make it. And you got to think with all these guys coming down pit road, they're going to be at full speed trying to get back to the line before their pit stops are over to pass them. It's going to be interesting to watch that. I think that very well could decide the race.
Coming around, Kyle Blevins looking like he might be hitting pit road this time by. He sure is. Whoa, Ronenberg over the top of Aaron Thacker, and somehow they don't bid it big as they enter pit road.
God bless. These guys are a little reckless with the no damage rules that we have here coming down to pit road. I mean, I've seen a bunch of near incidents. That one would have been race ending without the damage modifier here, but Ronenberg able to live to see another day. But man, he got absolutely all he could out of that pit entrance.
Jeez, almost went for the lead. He got that slowed down for pit road speed as well on top of it.
I mean, he absolutely got all he could. There was nothing more. He benefited greatly from that. I mean, it's not like he even got penalized. That was the best pit entrance of the night at the end of the day.
So everybody
And
is
look,
going.
did he come out first?
He sure did. How about that?
Oh my.
That is unreal. What is going on?
That's why you do it. The aggression pays off. Aggression pays off. Now, at the end of the day, we're in a car that is a draft-heavy car. So, being in the race lead, coming through the S's down this long straightaway right here, might not be the best on a restart. Maybe you might just get swarmed. But maybe he just gets away really well. He gets to decide where to go. Actually, he gets to decide where we restart. So. Maybe he'll, or within reason, I suppose. I think after the code 60 ends, so maybe he can kind of play it when he wants to on this restart, decide when to go at a certain point to his benefit. But I don't know if it plays out wrong for him and he has to have the carousel as turn one. He's going to be a sitting duck.
Well, we'll take one more step back here. Give our voice to the rest here before the restart. It is safety car, code 60, number 2 on the afternoon, and what a wild race this is shaking up to be in the closing stages. I am at a bit of a loss for words. Take one more look at this save from Justin Hall as we go to break. We'll be back in a moment. Getting set to return back to green flag racing for the Finger Lakes Tow Fest with less than 20 minutes on the docket. It's about to get wild in upstate New York as Thunder Valley set to roar to life. Fanning out, oh boy, we're crashing, question mark. One car is already in the pit road. Green flag jumps right to the line, we're green.
Rottenberg in the lead. This is what I was talking about, though. These guys are restarting at speed, coming down into turn number 1. The draft is massive, and now Romano is clear into second. How big of a sitting duck is Eric Rottenberg into the race lead? Can these guys all keep it clean back here through turn 1? The whole field looking nice, and now Rottenberg, clear run down to the carousel at a steady 120 miles an hour, and Romano is already closing in on the back bumper and making a move down to the inside for the lead.
Did not take long for Romano to try to go over the top spot. Here comes Aaron Thacker up to second. Can he go for the race lead down the back chute? Rottenberg pushes Romano. They'll be side by side. Thacker round the long way of the carousel, trying to hang on so he gets the inside for the boot.
Oh, and he's going to hang on. He's going to do a little bit more than that, actually, out of the carousel, clearing Giovanni Romano down into the boot. What a move from Aaron.
And we should be back now. Apologies for the brief drop on our connection, as everything should be sorted now. You haven't missed much. Romano is up to the race lead as a result of issues that went on down at turn number 1. Everybody is fanning out, looking to go for it as well as we hit the back straight with 16 and a half minutes on the docket. The 248 of Blevins is going for it.
But Kyle Blevins is trying to take the race lead away from him. Both these guys side by side as we enter the boot, but Romano has the run off the corner.
It's a huge drive as it stands for Giovanni Romano as he tries to hang on. Kyle Blevins trying to look around the outside, and in the middle of all of this, Eric Ronenberg looking to go for his first win in season number 9. Romano covering off the inside, and it's like a high-speed pace lap in upstate New York in Thunder Valley.
Romano hanging on to the race lead. Ronenberg trying to take second, back away from Kyle Blevins. Coming out of the boot. Romano able to extend his gap ever so slow. Oh, body parts going flying. Josh Freed having the Applejacks taken out of the box. Not able to have the box put back together, but he loses a bunch of spots in the process. Unfortunately, Giovanni Romano, though, able to extend the gap up at the front. And so you're going to replay to see how he took the race lead down in turn 1.
This was the pass for the lead. That was after we had briefly lost connection, and we were able to thankfully get the replay of that out to you guys. As now Romano trying to hang on to that lead. We're into the final quarter of this race. 15 minutes to go.
Romano down into turn number 1, sweeping it down to the apex, carrying good speed on the exit. But we've seen it time and time again. The car up front just has so much drag, so much air hitting the front end, especially coming up this hill. You just get slowed down like crazy. But Blevins in the in that dirty air in the back, able to get the draft coming up the S's. At this speed, it's not dirty air, it's draft, and it's helping him tremendously. But he's just going to stay on the back bumper of Romano, not going to go for the move, and it's going to open up the inside. Ronenberg is going to be 3 wide. Is that Ron Wolf going to the race lead? Ron Wolf out of nowhere, going to go all the way from 4th to 1st.
This is big for the Scoville squad, remember, trying to see who can fight their way through the Scoville squad. Still battling for spots in the team's championship. Meanwhile, Ronenberg trying to circle around the outside to look to pick off the lead as well. Happy Holidays is here. They're ready to go to war as Hale Santos 017 is to the lead.
This is ridiculous. Eric Ronenberg now to the lead. I mean, it's just changing hands like hotcakes. Nobody wants to stay in the race lead for long, but there's 12 or so guys that want to at least grasp it for a moment, and they're all fighting for it. Eric Ronenberg, though, he's got it for now. How long can he hang on? Romano down to the inside, not able to get his nose in there. He's stuck side by side with Ron Wolf, and neither one of those guys are going to be able to challenge Ronenberg. As they come out of the boot, Ronenberg is going to go really defensive, maybe open himself up. Ron Wolf drives it in a little bit too deep. He's going to lose the back end. What a save! Oh no, but he gets hit in the back end. He had it saved, but he got hit. Somehow rips that thing back around to keep it straight. Gonna maybe hang on to the top 20, but Ron Wolf tumbling down the running order.
How did no one hit him? Well, somebody hit him, but how did not more cars hit him as they spun around? Ronenberg now out to a half-second lead. He is vulnerable. Romano and Blevins are going to catch him like a sitting duck.
Oh my goodness, that shattered the field a little bit, but there's still so many cars within a second and a half, 2 seconds of the race lead that you just gotta think that they're all gonna convene on each other. As soon as Romano and Blevins get up to the leader, they're gonna start racing. They're gonna get side by side because they're gonna have the biggest run that we've seen all night coming up through the S's and down to the carousel. They're closing in on the back bumper of your race leader, and they're driving around his outside.
Round the long way for Romano and Kyle Blevins. Ronenberg with no help. 2 flying donut cars in the background. That's Kasich and Augustino. Here goes Kyle Blevins trying to go over the top spot. We've just had 1 car absolutely demolished. Oh boy, they're crashing big time down the straight.
Oh, bad goes to worse for Ron Wolf. Oh, and more cars finding themselves on the outside wall. Darren Bai down to the inside towards the inner loop, the entrance of the inner loop, able to get his car righted, but he's tumbling way down the running order. And we're still side by side for the race lead. Romano and Ronenberg going at it. But looking at a replay, I think they're already wrecking in front of by.
Whoa!
Yeah, they're kind of going at it. Ron Wolf gets turned in front of by. Huge hit for the 22.
That should have been a monster of a wreck. Bear Morton getting put into the wall, and I'm shocked that that was not a huge pileup right there.
Ooh, Kyle Blevins, Giovanni Romano, Eric Ronenberg, Jake Kasich, and Tyler Augustino still in it with a shot, and even a couple of other cars behind them. Corey Barrett, Todd Madole finding themselves with a shot as long as they hang on to that draft. And I mean, the last 8 minutes or so since the restart, the race leader's got a bunch of pebbles coming out of the back of his car, and he's lost grip, and he's lost the race lead because Romano's diving it out of the inside.
And that's big trouble for the Bug Boys. Remember, the Bug Boys right now, they are just barely clinging on to the points lead by 4 points entering tonight. Kyle Blevins has got to really be the torchbearer for his team this afternoon. Giovanni Romano to the race lead. Blevins in second. They're breaking away with it, and we got big issues deeper in the field as well. 2 cars in the pit road. They're beating and banging. 3 wide looking for 4.
Oh my goodness, Barrett Morton beating the back bumper off of Steve McGlendon. Oh, just about finding 4 wide. Josh Freed looking to make it. Not quite, but Barrett Morton's going to squeeze him too narrow on the apex. Just about spins himself out. Freed's going to ride him, and Romano's up in the race lead. Blevins pushing him down the straightaway. They've separated themselves from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, even 7th a little bit further back, Todd Madole. But they've 2-car tandemed up, and they are in the draft running them down.
I was going to say, they might have broken away, but not for long. Here comes Ronenberg with a vengeance, but Barrett looking to spoil the party. Corey Barrett to the inside. Double file is going to be bad news. Out wide, almost running over our camera on the outside of the boot as Ronenberg drives it in deep in a turn number 6, and is right there. Once again, it's now a 7-way fight for the lead.
Oh, it just won't stop. You say 7-way. I feel like this thing could still turn into a 15-way. I mean, it is ridiculous how many cars are up here with the shot at this thing. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of these guys get into it up here, slow the entire pack down, and bring even more guys into the fight for this thing. I mean, still 9 minutes left. We've been calling it since the restart like we've had, 1 lap remaining. It's felt that intense the entire time. No time to breathe whatsoever. And right now, Romano up in the race lead, hanging on to it. Kyle Blevins, though, looking as hungry as ever. Looking to, he has a little bit better run off that corner, a little bit narrower, able to get a straighter exit. And Alex Cofford maybe looking to play spoiler here.
I think Cofford just blew the boot altogether, and I think he just shot right through it. Cofford, I think, is about over with this series. He's gotten his championship. He's gotten his 5 wins. I think he's looking to go out on a bang here. So he has tentatively taken over the race lead, but I promise you, this is not actually for the race lead. He is just having some fun with it here in the closing stages. Meanwhile, Romano and Blevins scrapping it out for the top spot on the racetrack. The 99 and the 248 are close, but Ronenberg is right there ready to party. Corey Barrett a little unsettled over the curving there of turn 1. Drops back into the clutches of Jake Kasich and his teammate Tyler Augustino. Tom Madole right up there in 8th. Right now, the way it stands, I do believe it would be Babs Bug Boys taking home the top spot. 3 wide down the back straightaway.
That's 3 wide for the race lead. Romano under fire. Blevins and Ronenberg both going to take it from them, and they're both still side by side for the race lead coming down to the carousel. Ronenberg firing it down deep on the outside, trying to hang on to the left rear here of Blevins, trying to just stay side by side as we come down to the boot. Not quite sure if he's able to do it. Yes, able to keep the run. Coming down to the boot. Can he fire it in deeper than Blevins? Give himself an opportunity as he's going to have the outside. Oh, Blevins overshoots. He's going to go way wide. Eric Ronenberg back to the race lead and side by side for second. Oh, 1 spinner further back. 2
spinners. Aaron Thacker and Alexander Klink both go spinning off the racetrack. Thacker still stopped on the exit of turn 6. Thacker get that shift right in. Now double file for the number 2 spot. Now, critical notion here. Right now, the way this sits, Happy Holidays is in prime position to take this spot, to take away this team's championship. Babs Bug Boys was 4 points up, entered racing action tonight. If you subtract Alex Cofford from the top, right now, Tom Badul, the highest of the Happy Holidays crew. And as it stands, when it comes to him and everybody else, there is no one but Happy Holidays all the way back to, well, we're talking deep in the field. Right now, Happy Holidays are your champions for the team's championship.
Yes, Go Bull Squad unfortunately had Ron Wolf up here, but man, he was up here in a flash and was out of here in a flash, unfortunately. Has handed this one over. Alex Cofford handing this one back over to the rightful owners, I believe. After well, maybe not. Maybe not. He came down pit road at speed. Maybe giving the leader a draft. I don't know about that. Oh, Kyle Smith contact, driving way out, trying to hang on to that thing. Really going to lose a couple positions due to the contact, but Ronenberg's still up in the race lead. And like I said, he's got a little bit of a drafting partner up at the front here with Cofford.
Holy cow!
Contact that almost wrecked the front. Ronenberg almost got sent spinning. Now side by side for second, 3 wide. Blevins to the outside. Barrett down to the inside, trying to take it away from Ronenberg. Oh, he might even take the race lead. Oh my goodness, Corey Barrett out of nowhere. He rubs fenders with Ronenberg. He's looking to take it.
Driving it in deep in towards the boot section once again. Ronenberg able to hang on. We don't have deltas. Alex Cofford's games are kind of spoiling our timing tower a little bit here, so we'll do the best we can. Right now, Barrett to the inside. Corey Barrett takes up that top spot. Heralds of Galactus looking for their first win of the season, but Ronenberg not about to take that one lying down. He cuts back to the inside with the over-under. That was through the toe. Now we're into the heel, and Ronenberg back on top.
Barrett got a bump there from Romano, but it just was not enough coming down the straightaway. But Corey Barrett, he's going to go for the over-under now, but he's got the outside coming out of the boot. Can he do it once more? Going for the undercut again, but kind of mistimes it. Ronenberg able to park that thing on the apex of the corner. Not let Barrett get a run side by side for third. Barrett's just going to have to regroup here. Still 5 minutes to go. Plenty of time for Corey Barrett to find a way around Eric Ronenberg. You got to think, we still got another 3 trips down that long straightaway, so Corey has plenty of opportunities coming up.
5 minutes are left to go. Giovanni Romano takes over a spot from Tyler Augustino. There goes Jake Kasich. 3 wide, down towards turn number 1, and Kasich takes 2 for 2. Out wide goes Blevins. Augustino is still in the fray. Ronenberg and Corey Barrett are single file right now. Romano trying to bridge the gap between them and everyone else who's trying to scrap for the lead. We got less than 3 laps to go.
Corey Barrett choosing to shove Eric Ronenberg down the S's, but Romano's going to go to the outside. He's going to take the run from the draft to the front 2, and now Barrett goes down to the inside, so it's going to be 3 wide between the front 3 for the race lead. Romano has the headway, but Corey Barrett starting to peek forward down on the inside groove. Narrowing up the entry of the corner, though, is Corey Barrett. Not sure if he's going to be able to carry the momentum that he needs on exit. Instead, it's going to be Giovanni Romano on the outside. But he went a little bit too wide, bringing Eric Ronenberg right back into this thing. It's still just going to be side by side for second as Romano able to clear for the race lead. Ronenberg just trying to take second back.
Hunting big time right now as Romano trying to track this one down to the inside of the racetrack. Baron Morton is up to the number 2 spot. Holy cow, my started losing my voice here while Eric Ronenberg is still trying to fight on for third as well. Kasich, will he look for the inside 3 wide? No, he does not. Giovanni Romano now still with the lead, but Corey Barrett is right there and pressuring.
Corey Barrett took that second place spot for a moment, but Ronenberg trying to go around the outside. Oh, there's contact between the 2. Ronenberg into the fence. Corey Barrett willing to take the position by any means necessary. Hip checking Eric Ronenberg out into the outside wall, chucking him back to the 4th place spot. Now Kasich all over the back bumper of Corey Barrett as these guys come down to take 2 laps to go. Romano with a decent lead, but coming up to the S's in that big straightaway, I don't know if you want the big decent lead.
2 laps to go in this one. Giovanni Romano still with the lead. Corey Barrett in second. Kasich in third. Ronenberg 4th. Augustino closes out the top 5. Kyle Blevins running back in 5th. 2.5 minutes on the clock will equate to 2 laps with about 30 seconds to go when we take the white flag. Romano under fire. Corey Barrett going for the lead. Ronenberg going to cut to the inside of the racetrack. Help out Giovanni Romano. Jake Kasich shoving Corey Barrett clear.
Corey Barrett on the outside, 3 wide for the race lead. Kasich's just going to fire it on in there. Oh, Blevins off the racetrack. He's going to lose a ton of time, but Jake Kasich through to the race lead from absolutely nowhere. Side by side for second. Corey Barrett down on the inside. Romano just trying to fire it in as we enter the boot, but he's going to be way too wide to make a difference. Going to try to go for the over-under, but he's just going to give up the spot. Jake Kasich up to the race lead. Corey Barrett in second. Still with a shot at this one more time. Down that long straightaway with the draft. Who positions himself best coming into the boot. And can you hang on to it once you get down into it? Kasich still hanging on to it right now, up in the lead.
Corey Barrett has never won a beer league race in his career. The closest he came was second earlier this season at the Red Bull Ring. Could this be Barrett's maiden win in season number 9 to close out the 2024 calendar year? Jake Kasich still maintains his run up front. Now we work our way out of the boot, back towards the start-finish line. 2 corners to go, and then we will start the final trip around. It is all to play for. This race will come down to a last lap. No holds barred, all-out slugfest. It's bare-knuckle boxing at Watkins, Glen International. White flag is in the air.
This has been a season finale fitting of the season that we have had so far in the Spec Racer Ford. Now Corey Barrett going for his first race win as the white flag is flying. Corey Barrett looking to take the race lead away as we go down into turn number 1. He's going to take it away from Jake Kasich. They're side by side for third behind him. Are they going to be able to get lined up behind Jake Kasich to give him a big enough run past Corey Barrett again?
It's going to be a lot to keep these guys at bay. Kasich to the back of Barrett. Kasich's going to help out Corey Barrett. Augustino trying to go to the middle. Romano shuts him in. Ronenberg, look at Ronenberg. Ronenberg charging 4-5 wide down the straight forward for the lead. Ronenberg to the inside. Kasich hanging on. Barrett with nowhere to go. He's boxed in. Romano on the outside of the racetrack. Ronenberg takes this one into the carousel.
They're still 3 wide for the race lead. Kasich leaning on Ronenberg. Romano just trying to hang on the outside. It turns into 3 wide for second. Can Romano stuff himself down to the inside as we come down into the boot? Kasich trying to clear himself. Romano contact with Barrett. The 3 that were 3 wide for second almost wipe each other out. Still side by side for the race lead as Kasich's going for it with Ronenberg.
Ronenberg's got to make that car as wide as he possibly can as Eric Ronenberg looking to go to the race lead. Ronenberg takes up the lead. Corey Barrett still can smell that first race win. Just barely in his grasp. He was robbed from it at the Red Bull Ring. Desperately trying for something. 3 wide to the inside. Corey Barrett back to the race lead. Made that car let go as wide as the box truck. Squeezing Ronenberg out to the left-hand side of the racetrack. Ronenberg just barely hanging on. Corey Barrett trying to go for the cutback. Ronenberg slamming the door shut. Trying to keep Corey Barrett at bay. Into the final couple of corners. Does Eric Ronenberg hang on? Kasich has turned to the background. Corey Barrett's got to go for the Hail Mary. Into the final corner. Sends it in. It's not enough. Ronenberg off the final corner. And Eric Ronenberg steals Corey Barrett's first one away.
Oh no, Corey Barrett. What a try. What an effort. What a finish to the season. Corey Barrett almost got it done, but Eric Ronenberg steals it away at the death. What a finish. What a race. I mean, just absolutely fantastic the whole way through. What a fitting way to end the beer league season. You couldn't ask for a better way to end it.
4, almost 5 wide for the lead as they went down the back straightaway. Could you have asked for a better way to close out the racing season than that? Take one more look. Excuse me, holy cow. Try to get another look back at this as they came up and over the hill. We'll back this up and we'll take a look. Did they get 5 wide as they went down the back straightaway? There's 3, there's 4. Factor into the air, they were 5 for about a second with 1 in the grass.
Goodness gracious. And the difference in the race was really, Ronenberg made a little bit of an error, made a little bit of a mistake coming out of the boot. He got sideways, and Corey Barrett was going for the over/under, but because Ronenberg got sideways, he was further down the racetrack than Barrett expected. And instead of Barrett just powering by the outside and taking the race lead and taking the win, he just plowed into the back of Ronenberg and gave him a bit of a speed boost and took some of his momentum away, and that ended up being the difference in the race.
Everybody's lining up for the Season 9 class photo. What a way to close out the season. I could not have asked for a better way. And like you said, this has been a very, very fitting finale for the season that we have had this afternoon. And with all of that said and done, we'll get the chance now to take a rundown of your official post-race results. With one of the wildest races in pure league history, it comes down to Eric Ronenberg taking home the W at the end of the day, robbing Corey Barrett of win number 1. He once again remains winless, and he'll have to try again coming on over into season number 10. Romano picks up third with Augustino in fourth. Kyle Blevins is back in fifth with Tom Adol in sixth. Chris Flams in seventh. Clank in eighth. Wright in ninth. And Casey in 10th. And with one of the Happy Holidays cards up in the top 10 and Babs Bug Boys nowhere close, they have clinched the team's championship.
11th place, Matthew Dupuis. 12th, Jeremy Castro. Ron Wolf finished in 13th. Austin Tucker in 14th. Aaron Thacker rounds out the top 15 with Kyle Smith in 16th. Shane Cameron 17th. Darren By in 18th. Adam Elhott in 19th with Tyler Carlton rounding out the top 20.
From there, it'll be Greg Beckman to 21st with Tanner Klein to 22nd. Then it's Blake Ambrose, Adam Klein, Sean Bradley, Ben Williams, Steve McClendon, Brooks Clayton, Brian Verhulst, and Carson Catlin.
Josh Breed finishes in 31st, David Elkin in 32nd, Mac Verstoopen, Justin Hall, Jordan Babcock round out the top 35 with Tyler Vietnan, Evan Campbell, Barrett Morton, Alex Crawford, Ethan Condy, and Michael Derby rounding out the 41 car field.
And that is going to do it. The final race of the season and the year is complete. Let's take a chance to run down and give a chat to all of the drivers that came home and put on a phenomenal season finale. Ronenberg is able to come home with a mega drive at the end of the day as Eric, you come home to take one more race win to cap off the year. It was a solid drive for you. Kind of talk us through how everything pans out after tonight and what you had to do to get the job done.
Oh man, that was a lot of work and a lot of luck at the end there. I didn't think I was going to hold it out.
Kind of holy cow. I mean, those final laps was something else. I mean, I think Corey Barrett, I think Romano both made it very clear they were not going to make that an easy fight for you. And you had to really get the elbows out to box that 7 car out for trying to go for the win. And he tried to send you into the final quarter as well.
Yeah, he did. It was a battle for like what, past 10 or 12 laps, and any one of us could have won it. It just kind of came together.
Overall, kind of talk us how what's going through your head now that the 2024 year is behind us, and how you're going to reset and try to go back at it for season 10.
Oh well, we still don't know what car we got, but this car has been a lot of fun. I think a lot of us didn't like it at the beginning, but kind of came to love it. So hopefully next season is something similar, but never know.
You never know, indeed. That's part of what makes the beer league so great, is the fact that you never quite know. It's impossible to adapt to things beforehand, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, Eric, thank you for taking the time to join us. Congratulations on taking home a solid race win tonight, and we will hopefully see you again in the new year.
Oh, absolutely. Thank y'all.
Ronenberg comes home with another race win on the marks, and well, Austin, Corey Barrett, his highest finish was second, and he will remain a second tonight. You're standing by with our runner-up.
Corey, it's not too often that I say that I'm disappointed to interview somebody, but man, I am oh so disappointed to interview you tonight because I was so hoping that you were going to finish up in the top spot, man. You've come so close twice now this season. You know, what's running through your mind after this one?
You know, I thought I had it. I really thought I had it. And coming up to the last few corners, I put the car as best I could to try and get Eric, but I didn't want to take him out either, so I played it safe and took home a podium.
You know, I said after the race that I thought the defining moment was y'all coming out of the boot. You were going for the undercut, it seemed like, coming out of that corner, and Ronenberg got loose and came down the racetrack, and you ended up hitting him in the back, and instead of it spinning him out or getting him out of shape, it seemed like it gave him a speed boost and took some of your momentum away. You know, if he gets loose and you run a normal line out there on the outside, do you think you just sweep by and take the lead and this thing goes a little bit different?
I mean, I was looking at two different things. I was looking at not ruining his race, and I was looking at not ruining my race with the incident count. It was getting pretty close at the end. I just I just wanted to hold on, and it starting from as far back as I did, I'm just surprised that I made it as far up as I did. So that's a win for me.
Before you finished second twice this season, so you've gotten your best finish of your beer league career now twice in 1 year. What's it going to take next year to boost that spot one more, to get one win on the tally? What car do you think would kind of fit you the best, that you think could be in the offering here in the beer league?
Honestly, this is it. This is the car for me, and I don't know what we're doing next season. I've heard rumors of the new BMW. I haven't really played with it yet. I don't know enough about it. This was my best shot. Between this and the Red Bull Ring, I was within a 10th with John Combs that race, 3/10 from Eric this race. I mean, this is probably going to be as high up as I get for a while, and I'm okay with that.
Well, Corey, this has been some of the best racing that I've seen in the beer league all season long. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we see the Spec Racer Ford back in a couple years or a couple seasons, because goodness gracious, this whole year has been awesome. And I mean, you've put on a heck of a show the times that we've seen you at the front. So congratulations on a good season, man. It's been awesome watching you at the front, trying to get this monkey off your back. And I hope that no matter what car we get going forward, hopefully you can get that win here soon.
Thank you. And you guys have been great. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you, Corey. That was your third place finisher, Corey Barrett, here tonight. Or sorry, second place finisher. I don't want to short him because that was a harder and second place finisher. That was your second place finisher, Corey Barrett, here tonight, driver of the number 7. Next up, we're going to pull up Giovanni Romano, who came up in P3.
Giovanni Romano comes home third at the end of the night. And, Gio, you were one of the hard chargers of the race. In fact, you were the hard charger, plus 37. And you had a hell of a fight in the last 10 minutes to try and take that race away. Coming up just a little bit short, but walk us through the last 3 laps or so of racing, because that was a nonstop slugfest.
Yeah, that was basically a plate oval race, but with extra steps. That being, there's a few corners in between. So like the last few laps was kind of all just posturing for that. Well, the last lap, which is the one that really mattered, and I don't even know how much posturing mattered really, because when it came down to the backstretch there on the last lap, we were like 4 wide, so kind of just depending on whether you got the push or not, and it was just a slugfest. But it really, really awesome racing, and I'm sure really fun to watch.
So another season is behind you, and overall, you had a really good performance this season. Lots of strong results. We were able to talk to you quite a few times up here in the booth as well. Do you think this could be the start of a resurgence for that 9-9 entry entering the new year?
Not until I start drinking to get beer points, and think I'm better off sober. But it's a good season, and I definitely enjoyed the car a lot in the last couple of races in particular, because they gave it a nice little tire model update, and I quite like what iRacing did with it. It's I definitely, not that it was terrible before, but I definitely feel like it was an upgrade, and it's a nice little car to drive now, I think.
Well, what do you think then about how the new season could pan out in the new year? Not talking about the beer points, obviously, but more thinking about race results in general. Are you going to be able to adapt to a new car, or do you think a struggle might be ahead of you?
I guess it depends what the car is. I mean, I've heard rumors from everything from the new BMW M2 to the Volkswagen Beetle, which, oh god, that would be interesting. So I think it would depend on the car. I really like the M2. That car's great, and I've taken to it really quickly. So I think if it was that car, it'd do really well. But guess we'll see.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Whatever we might be racing come January 1st. For now, thank you for coming out to give us one more chat on the season, and we'll see you in 25.
Yeah, and have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. Yeah.
And to you as well. That was Giovanni Romano coming home for the Arcane number 99. He will take away the last podium spot of the season. And Austin, that does it. Not just for another season, but for an entire year of racing with the Beer League. It's hard to believe that it's already been almost 2 years since we started broadcasting to these guys, and they continue to provide an absolutely stellar show week in, week out. And I'm very excited to see what the new year's going to come up for us, because they are the first broadcast we'll be having directly on January 1st.
And I can't wait. And by that, I mean, like, I absolutely can wait because, like I said earlier, I like my breaks. But the beer league has been absolutely fantastic. I'm right there with you. Like you said, 2 years running with the beer league. We've been here for, I don't even know how many seasons at this point. I mean, it's just been ridiculous, one year after another. Fantastic. And honestly, each season has been better than the last. This season, the Spec Racer Ford was, I mean, top notch. I couldn't even put another season that I've broadcasted up next to it in terms of quality. So, a heck of a job from the beer league. Great job picking the car. Whoever picked it, I believe it was the championship winner from the year before. So, that was a dang good pick.
Still got a lot coming up on Green Flag TV. While Monday and Wednesday night, and in fact weeknight racing as a whole might be done, we've still got the SRA IL preseason races. They'll be at Fort Worth, Texas this coming Saturday night with the SRL the SRL Winter Series bringing up for races 5 and 6 with twin 30-minute features at Southern National Motorsports Park on Sunday night. They'll take you through the Christmas break, and we'll be back in full force in January. Once again, my name is Ramble alongside Austin Edstrom. One of the best seasons I think Beer League has had in their recent history, and definitely one that a lot of drivers are going to be remembering. And some drivers will be back in the new year with a vengeance. My name is we already said who we are. If you want to find out more about who we are, what we can offer you, check us out today on www.greenflagtv.com. We'll see you all when we go racing once again in 2025.